Mayday, mayday. It is death and destruction. It's carnage out there. Yes, I know the normal markets are tanking. NASDAQ's down, S&P's down. Maybe your favorite like TradFi company is down. Bitcoin's down. We just crossed 100K. But what I think most of you listening are, you're most worried about your runes and your ordinals because it has been an absolute bloodbath. And we're going to blame it on DeepSeek, but maybe we have some soul searching to do. Right after this message from our new conference this April.
Hey, this is Will with Blockspace Media. And I don't know if you heard, but we just announced the second edition of our conference series, Op Next, now to be held at the MicroStrategy HQ in Tysons, Virginia.
That's right. After the success of our first scaling conference at Fidelity last fall, we're doing it again this spring, April 11th and 12th at the MicroStrategy HQ. I'm really excited for the programming. We have various stakeholders, industry, developers, and Bitcoin miners present.
So join us in April for open, neutral, and honest conversation about the leading proposals and technical solutions that will scale Bitcoin to the next billion users. No booths, no tokens, no shills, just Bitcoin and honest conversation.
You can find tickets and more information at opnext.dev or click below in the show notes.
Yeah, that's right. We're doing a conference at MicroStrategy in April. More info, I will link it in the description, and hit my Twitter at CB Spears and Blockspace Pod. So it's been a rout in the markets. This past weekend was like no holds barred precursor to was going to come this week. This is the live stream. Again, I typically do a little more metrics heavy, some more news, and I try to keep it pretty short. So 10, 15 minutes this episode. I'm going to share my screen. So if you're listening, I'll try to narrate what's happening. But I'm going to start with whenever we get scared, we go to mempool.space. And actually today, mempool.space does not offer much consolation because fees are down as well. So it's easy and simple and cheap to transact on Bitcoin. But if you are looking and you're wondering about Bitcoin's security budget, or if you're wondering what's going on, we're in a bull market. Bitcoin's at 100K, or it was a couple hours ago. Why is nobody transacting on Bitcoin? Well, I don't know why. Ordinals and runes are down, so somebody else pick up the torch. We're looking at 1 to 2 sats for VBuy. We only have 29 blocks worth of transactions, and we have significant concentration among block template producers. That is Foundry, Impool, via BTC, and F2 pool, making up over just about 75% of all network hash rate. So let's get into the bloodbath. Here we have Magic Eden, and this is the 30-day view of the top 10 most traded ordinals on Bitcoin. We have Puppets in the past month down 55%. Quantum Cats down 21%. Node Monks down 47%. OMB, after a nice little pump and what looks like a new collection, being inscribed down 34%. Based Angels down 57%. The only thing that's up is OCM Genesis. Pizza Pets are down 76%. So, and if I were to expand this, it would just keep going down. I mean, what gives? Like, Bitcoin is only down from 106,000, I think, to 99,000. In fact, I think Bitcoin is actually up from where it was 30 days ago. These Bitcoin denominated assets have not retained their price, neither in USD nor in Bitcoin. I personally am bummed. I love these things. I reported them. I talk about them. I own them. But you've got to wonder, where is all the capital flowing? Is it just flowing to ETFs? Maybe. It's certainly not flowing to Runes. Here's runes.com. Again, a 30-day view. These are the most traded runes by ticker. Dog, obviously number one, then Pups, then Billion Dollar Cat, then Arctic. Dog with $16 million of total traded volume in the past 30 days. Pups in a distant second with 2.7, and BDC with 2.1, a distant third. Like, we are, this is de minimis trading volume. In fact, we see Solana shitcoins on pump.fun in an afternoon have an underwhelming performance and still trade more than all of these assets combined in a month. All of these are down. Pups is down 66%, Dog down 44%, BDC down 53%. So it's been rough going. It is an absolute bloodbath. Why is that? Well, there's a lot of things going on. One, we've been in a secular ordinals bear market for a little while, but then also we've had this news this past week. How does a cracked AI, quant team in China affect your Bitcoin denominated ordinals assets? Well, this is how. So if you weren't around this past weekend to get a little hint of this over the past 24, 48 hours, here's what happened. So a Chinese AI model called DeepSeek, DeepSeek, was released and has been, first impressions apparently it's very, very performant. It competes directly with your big name brand household names for AI, such as OpenAI. And so it's a Chinese AI startup, and basically the TLDR is that they did it they were able to produce this AI model for way cheaper than you would doing it as many companies have predicted it would cost. Now there's some caveats around this. There's some asterisks, but the short version is that they were able to produce this for much cheaper in an unconventional way, and it's much more efficient than many people have predicted. And because it feels like the entire stock market is kind of held up on like the NVIDIA trade, the AI trade. We even see this in Bitcoin mining. All the Bitcoin miners are flipping to AI. This challenges a lot of the valuation models, and we see like we're coming into like stock earnings reports for a lot of these big companies this week and next. And they've been like justifying like we're pivoting to AI or we're raising all this money and here's the valuation and here's why we need the money. And this kind of cuts the legs out from under them, or at least so it appears the market is interpreting it that way. This morning, NASDAQ down 12%, NVIDIA down 12%, NASDAQ down 3 or 4%. You see, I'm just going to pick, we saw Core Scientific, the largest Bitcoin miner, down 30% on the day, just today. So it's been pretty painful. And then in Bitcoin, we've seen Bitcoin go down a bit, but nothing like remarkable. Interestingly, like Bitcoin hasn't really taken that much of a hit. Some of your like shit coins, absolute shit coins, are down massively. And in fact, let me just get into this. So this past weekend, again, if you're offline, you didn't miss much. But the good news is that, if you're offline, you missed some fun and fast like Solana shitcoins being launched. And why am I talking about this on Bitcoin Season 2? Well, it's because apparently the boomers and some of the zoomers have decided that, Bitcoin's not exciting enough. We're going to launch like analogs to Bitcoin type assets on Solana. And the most famous one this past week was launched by user Rune Toshi, and it was kind of this ironic statement that, because runes are so bad on Bitcoin, we're just going to do, finger quotes, runes on Solana. And so what happened was this pump.fun token called Runes, but it's on Solana. It was launched and made banner headlines on Saturday and Sunday as it soared from 0 to I think like 20 some odd million total market cap, and then subsequently over yesterday dumped to basically 0. The token currently sits at a fully diluted value, total market cap of $390,000, down 95+%. And the funny thing is, like, this was the chatter on Bitcoin Twitter, or rather Ordinals Twitter, Runes Twitter, if you want to call it that. And it also coincided with a lot of folks in the community, some of whom I'm close with, kind of publicly either capitulating on Runes or saying I'm a little disillusioned with the ecosystem. So if you're listening to this, you're not on Runes or Bitcoin Twitter, thanks for bearing with me. It feels like I'm giving you like the hot gossip of all the kids in town. But this particular token was a very interesting moment because we saw a lot of well-known people talking about it, generated a ton of chatter, and now it's down. So it's very painful. So simultaneously, a different self-proclaimed Bitcoin maximalist, Fred Krueger, you can see him on the website here on Deck Screener. He's a classic boomer, and he wanted to make a point about how dumb shitcoins are. So he launched a shitcoin called Stupid on Solana, and in classic internet fashion, the kids took it and ran with it, and it's done pretty well. Why is this significant? Again, why am I talking about this on a Bitcoin podcast? Well, it's because this was really an interesting weekend for a huge crossover for a lot of large public Bitcoin figures to start talking and either explicitly or implicitly start shilling pump.fund tokens on Solana. Now, we know these things have existed for a long time. There's been this kind of like side meme coin economy that goes along with this broader meme coin thesis. If I had Murad on the show last November, and I've talked a bit about it. But what's interesting is like this is kind of like I don't say like total. It's not capitulation. It's more like it's huge crossover among a handful of larger public figures in the Bitcoin space. When previously we would see a lot of the famous people in Bitcoin outright reject or refuse to even talk about these things. And now you have like direct participation. Either it's ironic, or it's to make a point, or it's just reversal and endorsing of these things. So I personally think meme coin trading it's a fun little hobby. It's fun to watch. I like to kind of try to analyze it, but more interestingly, I'm just curious what's happening in the market. And so right now, the narrative this past weekend has been like the flip to these meme coin and shit coins on Solana. So I don't want to. That's as much I'm going to dwell on that. I don't want to burden this particular stream with too much more news. To maybe tie it back to something I think is a little more interesting, a dashboard I've never shared. In fact, I don't actually see many people share this dashboard. This is the Pizza Pets dashboard. If you remember, 3 weeks ago, Pizza Pets were like the thing everybody's talking about. I still feed my Pizza Pets every day. And we can see out of the like 60 some odd Pizza Pets, which were airdropped to various owners of Pizza Ninjas and otherwise, of them, 75% have now died. 43,499 have died, and 14,697 are alive. We can see like other stats, like 2% of all the pets are listed. We can see the floor price in USD at $109. That's pretty good, honestly, for a JPEG. And some of these pets have become immortal, meaning that they won't die except under specific conditions. So, yeah, this is an interesting dashboard. I think it's kind of cool and fun to see. Like, one thing I try to do on this stream is like pull up a dashboard, look over it. Hopefully a dashboard that you haven't looked at or haven't heard of. So this is the one I picked this particular week. I hope to go back to like normal type metrics next Monday. So make sure you stay tuned. And otherwise stay safe out there, everybody. At some point you do have to wonder, like, you do have to self-reflect and say, I know these JPEGs are really fun, and the runes are really fun, but you should be DCAing Bitcoin this whole time. This is tried and true. You cannot go wrong with this. So much love out there. Stay safe, and I'll see you all